In this episode of How to Prep for the AT, we are going on a trip to Catoctin Mountain Park. We packed a lot of stuff, even though we're going just for the night, but that's because we wanted to really keep testing out our little cook stove. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up here. We brought a lot of warm gear because it's gonna be freezing tonight, and I don't know if I've ever gone camping in November before. Have you?
I've never gone camping ever. Like walking camping. So we have to hike 3 miles in.
Oh yeah, it's not like with our car. We're gonna have to hike a few miles, leave our car, say goodbye to our form of safety against the bears, and yeah, so wish us luck. I'll show you what it's like when we get there. I'm really excited because it's gonna be really quiet in the middle of nowhere, just us and the forest.
And if anything happens, Natalie's dad will be there to protect us. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, my dad's coming too, so see you then. Alright, we made it to Catoctin, how do you say it?
Catoctin.
Catoctin, not to be confused with Katahdin, the end of the AT, which is our ultimate goal. We made it, and we are on our first hike of the day, which will be just about 4 miles. And then after that, we're gonna go back to our car, park it, and then start our little trek into our campsite. Here we go. We just parked in Round Meadow Campground parking lot, commencing the 3-mile hike into Adirondack Shelters.
The Adirondack Shelters.
Any famous last words?
Oh, hello world.
Let's hope we don't freeze tonight. Guys. Do you see the way that twig is leaning to the right? That means a bear was here. I'm just kidding. I don't actually know how to tell when an animal has been here, but have you ever seen the show Alone on Netflix? It's actually on the History Channel. But I was just saying how it's really cool how, I mean, they're all survivalists. They're all like trained survivalists going on the show. But they can all tell when like a twig looks like a bear was nearby or something. So I think that'd be a good life skill to have, that, or being able to tell what berries are edible versus poisonous. But for now, we'll just keep eating our Cliff Bars.
So we're still walking, and if you're seeing my face and not Natalie's, it's because she's too tired to carry the camera right now. So here we are. We're just having this discussion. We're like, man, we're only like 2 miles into this hike with our sacks, and we're already just like, all right, how do people do the Appalachian Trail?
It's tiring when you have everything you need on your back. Your shoulders hurt.
So how are your shoulders feeling, Nat?
My back hurts.
Everything hurts. But yeah, having to do 2,000 miles of this would be madness.
Can't imagine. Cannot imagine.
Yeah.
I was just telling Pat, it's like, it's one thing to watch a YouTube video of people doing it and being like, oh, that looks fun, that looks like a good challenge. I think I could like build up to hiking 2,200 miles. But it's another thing to be like a few miles in with like 20 pounds on your back and actually feeling it. Props to anyone who has done that. Let's see what our little home looks like. There it is. There it is. We got nice and quiet. A lot of seats for a lot of people around that fire. And here is our little shelter. Now, one thing we've always wondered If anyone knows the answer, please let me know. Why the heck do these shelters have 3 walls and not 4? We have a few theories. One is that it's easier to just sweep out when there's not 4 walls. Another is so that you can feel the heat from the fire. What are other reasons?
That's all I can think of. Unless, theoretically, I think the wind is always supposed to blow from that way. So this is supposed to just protect you from the wind, but...
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing we thought is so that people don't stay here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I brought this cool plasma lighter that we have. Check it out. Oh, gonna use it on the fire now.
Camp easy, man. Oh, baby.
There's Patrick. There's his shoes. And it's time to go to sleep. You can't tell how snug I am in this sleeping bag, but good night. So they do have a little outhouse thing, but I prefer not even using it because these things just smell bad to me and I would rather just go in the bushes. It's not a picture, it's a video.
Oh, my bad. Why did you say I'm over here like cheesing?
There's the other shelter. Not too far from ours. A little discovery on the trail. Frederick Rocks 2020. So the shelters are here. And to go back, we hiked all the way down here, and we're parked at Camp Round Meadow. We did it! We survived our mid-November camping trip. I had a great time. It was definitely cold last night in the tent, but it was all worth it. It was fun. It was nice building a fire. It was really quiet where we were. There were like no other people around. I mean, there was the shelter number 1. We were shelter number 2. The first shelter did have a group of guys at it, but they were really quiet and they left like really early this morning. So we basically had the whole forest to ourselves. Pat, what'd you think?
And I keep saying mid-November camping. Nah, it was winter camping. It was cold AF. Like, we were both frozen. And stupid me did not have a sleeping pad, so I was sleeping straight on the ground. So it was freezing. Like every ounce of like heat was sucked from my bone and my soul. Like it was just cold.
Yeah.
But we survived it. And if you can tell by my eyes, I haven't really slept that much this past night because I was like tossing and turning trying to stay warm.
What do you think was the most important thing you brought on this trip?
Definitely the water.
Yeah, we had to bring our own water to this site. There was like a little stream nearby, but it really wasn't enough water to really like fill up your filter, so that would have been too hard. We brought basically a 1 gallon jug of water, and it was a lot to carry. Pat carried it yesterday, but it was definitely worth it because we drank it all. We used it on the fire at the end. That's all we needed. Those were the Adirondack Shelters at Catoctin Mountain in Maryland. I would highly recommend going to those. It's really cheap. It's really easy to get to, especially if you live in DC or Maryland. And it's really quiet and peaceful. So,
what's one thing that you would do differently or bring differently or
do differently?
Yeah, for you.
I probably wouldn't bring as much food. I brought a lot of food, a lot of snacks, because if you remember our last camping trip, cough cough, Pat was in charge of the food. He brought like a single can of beans, which
I was 6 servings of beans.
I was starving on that trip. So I'll link it up here if you didn't see that video. But this time I was very prepared. I ate the day of. I brought a lot of food. We made like mac and cheese on our cook stove. We made oatmeal this morning. We also had a ton of like Cliff Bars, jerky, all that stuff. It was a lot, but it also meant it was a lot to carry. So I would cut back on that a bit next time. So anyway, that was our trip. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. Are you doing winter camping this year? Are you doing any camping in November, camping in December? I'll see you in the next video.